Alright, what's up? We are currently heading out. Back again with another video. I know I was gone for a little bit. No excuses there, guys. Be completely honest with you. Just working on some behind the scenes stuff, working on some content, working on some other stuff. And I was away. My vehicle was gone for a little bit. Really didn't have a place to film. So, it is what it is. So, alright, we're back. Ready to roll, hit the ground running. Today, lower day, legs, that kind of thing, core. But I kind of want to talk about today is whenever you are first deciding, I am sick and tired of the direction and the trend that my life has been following. You have to first, you got to understand what is taking place here. You got to understand that whenever you're on that path of self-improvement and of change and of, whatever, there's a place that it all begins. And that place is up here. It's not a physical change, it's a mental change. You have to start with what controls your desires, what controls your laziness, what controls your work ethic, and it's your mentality, it's your mind. We've kind of been brought up in a society of being lenient and of being lazy. I'm gonna be honest. Society today is geared towards selfishness in the form of comfort. And you have to be very careful navigating your way out of that. Because you're going to hurt some people's feelings. Whenever you start this kind of path, you are going to very quickly realize how many people realize that they are not in the right spot, but don't want to be in the right spot because it's hard, it's difficult, it's time consuming, mentally taxing, physically taxing. So that's something that you have to think about and that you need to be a little careful with. Now, you don't need to cater to what other people believe and don't do what other people want. I'm not saying that at all. The opposite. But what I am saying is that you don't want to purposely make everybody your enemy. Come in, be the arrogant guy. I'm better than everybody else. Blah, blah, blah. The best work is quiet work. The best work is unseen work. And the results will speak for themselves. When you start out this kind of journey and you realize that I'm tired of the trend that my life is following and I'm heading down the wrong path and I'm sick and tired of being who I am, no matter who that is, and you want to change for the better all the way around, morally, spiritually, physically, whatever, you got to target that mentality first, because that mentality is what's going to carry you the distance. It's like, listen, we'll be up front here. Shout out David Goggins. Everybody knows him. Everybody's heard about him. If you haven't, look him up. Great guy. I draw a lot of influence and inspiration from him. And, he said it before. If you don't fix that mentality, all you're doing is building a bigger, faster, stronger quitter. And that's very true, completely true. You have to first work on, why is it that you are this way? What has shaped you this way? How do you remove yourself from the root of where, it's like a briar. You walk in, let's say you have a garden. All right, you got this nice gardens, tomatoes, potatoes, whatever, and there's briars just running all through it. If you just go up there and you snip the briar right before it gets to the tomato and you don't get the root, it's just going to grow right back over it. And it might come back better and stronger. You have to find the source of whatever it is that's causing you to be lazy, to not have discipline, to not work hard, whatever it is. You got to find the source of those issues. The things that you want to change, you got to find the source of it. Why is it that you're scared to go to the gym? Why is it that you know that you could make time, but you just don't want to make time? Why? Why is that? You gotta dig in your mind, and you got to move things aside, and you got to clear your headspace, and you got to find what dates back. Is it some kind of insecurity? Is it some kind of lack of self-love? Is it some kind of weird childhood thing? Whatever it is it just simple? Is it just nothing? And once you get down to that, you have to take the appropriate steps to get out of it. And so I think for a second. Let's think, guys. Let's think. You need to be willing to sit down and be harsh with yourself. And you need to be willing to sit down and say, I have an issue. I have a problem. I need to fix it. And I don't need to tell everybody about it. I don't need to look for that gratification or that improvement or applause from everybody. Because that's not what gets it. That's not what makes it stick. You have to understand that your mindset and your mentality and how you approach this change is how you fix it. Ooh. Drop the mic, guys. Whoops. Ignore that. We're not editing that out. We're keeping this stuff real. All right. We want this to be unedited. I want it to be unedited. You guys are probably going to edit that out. It's okay. It's really just, it's all in your head. It's all in your mindset. And you will notice very quickly once you start changing your approach to life and the way that you think about things, then everything else will follow. You know what I'm saying? If you genuinely just start, man, get up and brush your teeth and make your bed every morning. I think one of the most important things you can do for yourself is the multitude of all the small little things. Get up, make your bed. If you set your alarm, get up at your alarm when your alarm goes off. Don't hit the snooze. Don't sit around. Don't set 5 or 6 alarms. Set an alarm and get up. Don't mess around. Because the only person you're hurting is yourself. And people fail to realize that. People think that, if I don't do it, whatever, blah, blah. The only person that you're setting back, the only person that you're disappointing, the only person that you're hurting, the only person that's going to, not benefit from this is you. And that's all you're doing is setting yourself back another day, another week, another month, another year. We've talked about this before. Your seconds matter, right? If you think about your seconds in a day like money, you can't get it back. That time matters. The time that you have matters because, you may or may not live to your 60 or 70. What if you don't? You need to work hard now and leave behind some kind of legacy, or you need to do something while you're here. And if you do, you want to be successful in all your endeavors and truly build something that's worthwhile that you can enjoy while you're older. You need to work out and eat healthier so you can feel better when you're older. And anything can happen. Life turn you all the way around, and you have to be willing to face that and to understand that and to fight against that. But people get so caught up in that oh, why am I going to do that? I can get it. This guy worked out and he ate healthy, and he died. He dropped dead, at 50 years old, heart attack. Okay, like that doesn't. That has no. That's just unluck, and that's just life, and that can happen, and it will. But you can't worry about stuff like that. You have to see it as, while I'm here, no matter what amount of time that is, what am I doing, you know, to live like I'm going to live till I'm 80 years old? That's how you need to treat your life. I mean, if you sit around and use that idea that, you know, that you could fall over at any moment, and you don't know when you're gonna blah blah blah, then I mean, you might as well not do anything. You know what I'm saying? You can't live like that, and that's not realistic. That all that is a cop out and an excuse to make people feel better for not putting that work in, for not grinding, and it's unacceptable. You know, you're not hurting anybody else but yourself. Whenever you make those excuses, and you skip and you sleep past your alarm, and you skip those workouts, and you cheat on your diet, 1, 2, 3, 4 times in a row, you're not hurting anybody else. You know, yeah, people, your buddies or whatever, they might be disappointing and stuff, but who cares about that even? You're messing yourself up, and you have to decide, do you genuinely want this? And you have to get after it. And when you do things like, why, that's what I'm getting at. It's all mental, because when you skip your alarm, why are you skipping your alarm? Okay, if you're oversleeping your alarm, and you wake up, whatever, I'll go later. You turn that alarm off. Why are you doing that? You know what I'm saying? Do you not really want to go? Are you really that tired? Okay, if you're genuinely that exhausted to where you can't work out, which wouldn't make sense, because if you won't start working out, what else are you doing to make you exhausted? But whatever. Let's say you have something else going on. You got to find a way to balance that stuff out and to get more sleep. Are you tired because you're actually physically whooped? Are you tired because you've stayed up all night on your phone? You messed around on Instagram, messed around on TikTok, messed around on YouTube, played some games, screwed around. You know, now is not the time to be doing those things. Now is the time to get yourself straightened out and to work hard and to build something that other people don't have. That's what this is about. This is about creating something new, you know. And that's where it starts. It starts with figuring out the root of why you are the way you are. We all have troubles, we all have issues, we all have problems, but it only matters more whenever you complete what you're trying to complete. It only means you have more success. You have more to be proud of. You have more to, because you realize that I had all this, but I built something genuine, and I did it anyways. And you look around, and all these people that had better opportunities than you, that had more talent than you, that had more genetic ability than you, who wasted all of it, you surpassed all them with less. You did it with less. And they had more, and they wouldn't do it because they lacked that mind. They lacked that mental attitude of, I'm going to change, I'm going to be better, and I'm going to fully utilize everything God's given me and everything that I have. It is a blessing to wake up in a healthy body. It is a blessing to wake up, period. And you have to earn that. People will try to tell you, no, blah, 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 it's not that serious, blah. No, you have to earn that. If you live and you're 70, 80 years old, and you didn't do anything other than just bull crap around, make enough to live, never really did anything, party, drank, hung out, screwed around, blah, 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 you didn't earn any of the blessings that you had in your life. And what does that say? What does that say about the kind of person you are? What does that say about how you treat stuff? What does that say about how you treated yourself? If you're not willing to go the extra mile, guys, for yourself, how can you expect other people to want to help you out. How can you expect to be there for other people if you can't help yourself out? It's more than just about, it's about you, but it's also about, you got to think about it like this. All the accountability and all the responsibility falls on you. All of it. You need to be willing to bear all the responsibility, all the hate, all the accountability. But you also need, whenever it comes to reap the rewards, you also need to be humble and give back everything that you've been given, and more. You know, and that might not sound right. You worked hard for this, you did this. But in turn, guys, what you're gaining is the ability to help other people and to inspire other people and to be a blessing in other people's lives. And that's what people miss. You know, you're going to reap the benefits. If you work out and eat healthy, your benefit is going to be that body that you have, or the health that you have, how good you feel. But on the mental side of it, you need to take this mentality that you've earned, that you've learned, and you need to spread that, and you need to help other people, and you need to help the people in your lives, your family, your loved ones, friends, strangers, co-workers, whoever, and help them see that life is more than just some kind of job that you just kind of float through and you pay the bills and you mess around. You know, it just bothers me because if you don't do anything with your life, then what did it ever really amount to? You know what I'm saying? And you gotta think that way. You know, that's the mentality that you got to adopt. Is that you have to. It's like a test, man. Your life is a big test of what kind of person are you. Who are you gonna be? What kind of things are you gonna do? You know, and how are you gonna do your very best to achieve your goals? And people are going to put you down. People are going to make you feel bad. They're going to call you selfish. They're going, they're going to try to make you feel bad, but the truth is they feel bad. Man, you start getting around people that are working hard, that are doing good, that are doing more than you, man, that makes you feel terrible, because it makes you realize that you're not really doing anything. You know, and we all have that. Some of us are the people with less, but there's always somebody that has less than us, and there's always somebody that has more than us. So you're always right there in the middle, and you have both ways to look at it. When you make it, you get to look up and say, you had more, but I did more with what I had. You wasted your skills and your talents and your benefits. But when you're starting out, you can look down and say, these people have less than me, and they're doing more. I have to work harder. You know, you just really got to think about these things, guys. You know, ultimately, this is your life. How do you want to spend it? How do you want to live? How do you want to die? You know, what kind of life do you want to lead? How do you want people to think about you when you're gone? How do you want your grandkids to talk about you? How do you want your kids to talk about you? Those are the things that matter. You can't expect to be a positive impact in somebody's life if you're not a positive person. You know, think about that this week. Glad to be back, guys. I know I was gone. It is what it is. But we're back on a regular schedule now. So you got today. Still going to keep things I normally do. Tomorrow I won't be here. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, have 3 new videos for you guys. So it's all mental. Don't forget that. And challenge you guys this week. Really think about that and start adopting the correct mindset. Evaluate where your mindset's at. Evaluate where your drive and your passion's at. And I promise you guys, once you start changing that mindset, once you start really doing something with it, you will see that you have an easier time sticking with your goals and with your dreams and with your desires. All right, guys. See y'all tomorrow.